morning, students. The topic of today's video is the participle. The objectives are, by the end of this video, you will be able to understand what is a participle, different types of participles, how to join two or more sentences using participle. Students, first of all, we need to understand what is a participle. To understand this, let us have an example. A drowning man catches at a straw. The word drowning describes the noun man. Which man? Drowning man. So, the word drowning acts as an adjective. Also, drowning is formed by adding ing to the present form of verb drown. So, drowning is also a verb. The word drowning acts both like a verb and an adjective. Let us consider one more example. Withered flowers were thrown away. Which flowers? The withered flowers. And word withered describes the noun flowers, and it is a past participle form of wither. Such a word is called a participle. There are three kinds of participles: the present participle, the past participle, the perfect participle. The present participle. The present participle is formed by adding ing to the verb, that is V1 plus ing. It is always active. It denotes an incomplete action or state. Children, in simple words, present participle is V1 plus ing and acts as an adjective. For example, I like the dancing doll. In this sentence, there are two verbs. First is like, which is main verb, and dancing is secondary verb, which is the present form of verb plus ing. Here, doll is a noun. The word dancing is describing the noun doll as an adjective. So, it is called a participle. Let us understand the uses of present participle. The present participle is used in the following ways: to form continuous tenses. For example, the monkeys are jumping from tree to tree. Children, in this sentence, the word jumping is formed from the present form of the verb jump plus by adding ing. Thus, the word jumping acts as a present participle, denoting that the monkeys are continuously jumping from tree to tree. Let us consider one more example. The girl is weeping. Children, what is girl doing? Yes, the girl is weeping. The word weeping acts as a participle. It denotes that the girl is weeping at that very moment. As an adjective, qualifying a noun that follows it, as barking dogs seldom bite. In the above example, the participle barking describes the noun dogs. The passengers jumped out of the burning train. The participle burning describes the noun train. So the present participle functions as an adjective. As an adjective, in the subject complement, position after the verbs like be, is, am, are, was, were, seen, appear, etc. For example, the film is really interesting. Children, in this sentence, the word interesting describes the noun film, so it acts as an adjective and it completes the sense of verb is. Thus, it acts as a subject complement. Let us consider one more example. His behavior was irritating. The word irritating describes the noun behavior. So it acts as an adjective and it completes the sense of verb was. Thus, it acts as a subject complement. Children, in the above sentences, the present participles function as adjectives, which are complements of verbs. They are subject complements. Let us proceed to the next slide. As an object complement placed after the object, noun or pronoun. We saw the sun rising. The word rising is an object complement that describes the noun sun, which is the object of the statement. He kept me waiting. The word waiting is an object complement that describes the pronoun me, which is the object of the statement. Children, in the above sentences, the present participles function as object complement. As an adjectival phrase, generally put after the noun, it qualifies. For example, the pen lying on the desk is mine. Now, children, which pen? Yes, the pen lying on the desk. So the words lying on the desk is an adjectival phrase that describes the noun pen. So the participle lying is placed immediately after the noun pen which it describes. The boy wearing the red shirt is my younger brother. Now children, which boy? Yes, the boy wearing the red shirt. So the words wearing the red shirt is an adjectival phrase that describes the noun the boy. Here the present participles help to form adjectival phrases qualifying the nouns which are placed before them. Let us proceed further. To express the earlier action if the sentence refers to two actions by the same subject. For example, seeing the policeman, the thief ran away. In this sentence, there are two actions. The first action is seeing and the second is ran. We observe that the subject is the same in both the sentences. Children, the action has already happened. So, we began the sentence with ing form of the verb see. So, the statement is, seeing the policeman, comma, the thief ran away. Hearing the noise, the soldier rushed out. Similarly, we observe that there are two actions, hearing and the second action is rushed. The subject, the soldier is the same. So, we began our sentence with the ing form of the verb hear. The sentence is, hearing the noise, the soldier rushed out. As an absolute phrase. Now children, let us understand what is an absolute phrase. Look at the following example. It being a fine day, we arranged for a picnic. In this statement, there are two subjects and two actions. The pronoun it is followed by being a fine day. So, it is an absolute phrase. The boss being away, the clerks had a good time. Children, if you observe carefully, you will notice that the boss being away is a phrase. The phrase has a noun of its own. Now, children, what is the noun in this sentence? Yes, the boss. And being away is a participle phrase. So, the boss being away is a combination of noun plus participle phrase. So, it is known as absolute phrase. Children, in simple words, in such sentences, you will find two different nouns or pronouns performing two different actions. And keep in mind, in such a case, a participle must be placed after the noun which it qualifies. The past participle. A past participle is a non-finite verb which is the past participle form of the verb and works like an adjective. Let us consider an example. The past participle usually ends in en, n, d, and t. The past participle denotes an action or state which is completed and hence is no longer in progress. For example, terrified the boys stood crowded together. Children, in this sentence, terrified is past participle form of the verb terrify and is describing the noun the boys. Thus, terrified acts as an adjective as well as verb. So, it is called past participle. Let us understand the uses of past participle. The past participle is used in the following ways to form perfect tenses. She has gone to school. They have done their work. Children, in these sentences, we observe that with has and have, we have used past participle to form perfect tenses. As an adjective placed before the noun, it qualifies as that is a haunted house. Children, which house? Yes, a haunted house. So the word haunted describes the noun house and it is placed before the noun it qualifies. Let us consider one more example. The defeated army ran away. Which army, children? Yes, the defeated army. So the verb defeated acts as an adjective that describes the noun army. As an adjective in the subject complement position after the verbs like be, is, am, are, was, were. Children, keep in mind that be has different forms. In present tense, the forms of be are is, am, are, and in the past tense, it is was and were. Seen, appear, etc. to complete a sentence. For example, I was tired. Now children, in this sentence, which is the adjective? Yes, it is tired. It describes the pronoun I and also the word tired acts as the subject complement. You look troubled. Here the verb troubled acts as the subject complement. To express the earlier action if the sentence refers to two actions by the same subject, as terrified, they stood crowded together. Children, in this sentence there are two actions. First action is terrified and second action is stood. The subject is the same, that is they, and the action has already happened. So our sentence starts with the past participle. Terrified, they stood crowded together. Look at other example. Beaten by the enemies, the soldiers fled. Again, we observe that there are two actions, beaten and fled, performed by, yes, the same subject, the soldiers. As the first action is complete, the statement begins with the past participle beaten. So the sentence is, beaten by the enemies, the soldiers fled. As an adjectival phrase generally put after the noun it qualifies. Money collected easily has no worth. Children, money is the noun in the sentence. The adjectival phrase collected easily describes the noun money. So it is placed immediately after the noun that it qualifies. Look at other example for better understanding. The books stolen from his bag have been recovered. The word book is the noun in the sentence. The adjectival phrase stolen from his bag describes the noun the books. So it is placed immediately after the noun that it qualifies. As an absolute phrase, as the sun having risen, The farmers went to their fields. Now, children, if we observe, the sun having risen is a phrase. It has a noun of its own, that is the sun. And having risen is participle phrase. So, the sun having risen is an absolute phrase in the statement. The sun having set, nothing could be seen. The sun having set is a phrase. It has a noun of its own, that is the sun. And having set is a participle phrase. So the sun having set is an absolute phrase in the statement. As an object complement placed after the object, noun or pronoun. For example, he has his shoes polished. He saw the tiger killed. Children, the words polished and killed complete the sense of the sentences. They are placed after the objects and are acting as object complements. Let us understand the perfect participle. Participle formed by addition of having been, placed before a past participle of a verb is called perfect participle. For example, having finished his work, he went out. In this sentence, we have used the word having with the word finished, which is the past participle, or children, we can say the third form of the verb. So, having plus third form of verb makes it perfect participle. Let us understand the forms of participles. Present participle. In active voice, the form of the participle is V1 plus ing, and in passive form, it is being plus past participle form of verb. For example, in passive voice, loving becomes being loved, seen becomes being seen, finish becomes being finished. Look at the following examples. Being dissatisfied, he resigned from his post. Being dissatisfied is the present participle in passive form. Being occupied with my work, I could not get time to talk to you. Similarly, in this statement, being occupied is the present participle in the passive form. Past participle, third form of the verb. Now let us understand the forms of past participle. Children, past participle is always used in passive form. It does not have active form. For example, loved, seen, finished. Examples of past participle in passive form. Encouraged by his wife, he continued to work hard. Blinded by lightning, she fell senseless. Children, encouraged and blinded are the past participles in passive form. Now let us understand the forms of perfect participle. In active voice, the perfect participle is having plus third form of verb. And in passive form, it is having plus been plus third form of verb. For example, having loved becomes having been loved. Having finished becomes having been finished. Having seen becomes having been seen. Examples of perfect participle in passive form. Having been praised by the king, the artist became famous in his country. Having been educated in England, the man soon got a job in India. Children, having been praised and having been educated are the passive forms of perfect participle. Let us proceed to the next slide. Combination of sentences using a participle. I heard the news of his death. I went to his house. We can combine these two sentences into a single sentence by using a participle. The subject I is same in both the sentences. Children, there are two actions. The first action is heard and the second action is went. So we will take the verb of the first action, that is heard, and change it into present participle. So heard becomes hearing. So children, our answer will be hearing the news of his death, comma, I went to his house. Children, you have to keep in mind the full stop of the first statement will change into comma. The thieves saw the policeman. They ran away. Children, in this sentence, there are two actions. First action is saw and second action is ran. We will take the first action word and change it into present participle form. Saw becomes seeing. Full stop in first statement will change into comma. So our sentence will be, yes, seeing the policeman, comma, the thieves ran away. Children, keep in mind we will write down the thieves here, not they. The hunter took an aim. He shot the tiger. We observe in this sentence that there are two actions. The first action is took. The second action is shot. We will take the first action word and change it into present participle form. Took becomes taking. Full stop in the first statement will change into comma. So our answer will be taking an aim, comma, the hunter shot the tiger. Children, we will write down the hunter here and not they. The building was decorated with lights. It looked very beautiful. We observe in the sentence that there are two actions. First action is decorated and second action is looked. The sentence the building was decorated with lights is in passive voice. So, we will use the past participle form of the verb decorated and begin our sentence. So, the answer will be decorated with lights. The building looked very beautiful. He was ill. He did not go to office. Children, there are two action words. First action word is was and second action word is yes, go. Children, keep in mind the verbs is, am, are, was, were are converted into being. Was will change into being. So our answer will be being ill, comma, he did not go to the office. We arrived at the station. We saw the train moving. Arrived is the first action word. Saw is the second action word. We will take the first action of the word and change it into present participle form. So arrived becomes arriving. Sometimes children, keep in mind with participles we can use prepositions. So our answer will be on arriving at the station we saw the train moving. The sun rose. The fog disappeared. Children, there are two action words. The first action is rose. Second action word is yes, disappeared. We have two different subjects. So we will begin with the first subject, that is the sun. So children, our answer will be yes, the sun having risen, comma, the fog disappeared. The weather was fine. I went out for a walk. Children, in this sentence we have two action words, was and went. The first action word is was and the second action word is went. We have two subjects, so we will begin with the first subject, that is the weather. Was will change into being. So, children, what will be the answer? The weather being fine, I went for a walk. Children, this brings us to the end of this tutorial. Homework for you is solve the exercises given to you in your SNAP homework. Thank you.